Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well these days. We're just coming back from right after our Easter. Hope everyone had a really great Easter Sunday and everybody had some yummy treats on Easter Sunday. So we're going to jump right into it again today. I'm bringing you another little sketch that you guys can work on in some spare time if you'd like. I know last time that I did a video, we did like a little frog on a lily pad in kind of in his pond, if you will, or wherever he lives, his habitat, all of that. I actually thought maybe today we'd work on something a little bit similar, but I've drawn an animal, and I'll show you here in just a minute. As a matter of fact, I'll show you right now. I drew an animal that you might find in a zoo, and I actually put him in a zoo. So remember the last time that I was with you guys, when we created our pond, right? We created the frog on the lily pad. We put him inside the pond, right? We gave him a dragonfly and some other things around him. And I called it his being in the setting that they would normally be living in or you would see them in. Now, typically, we don't see giraffes around here, right? I believe that those are on a different continent entirely. However, some zoos do have giraffes in those zoos. So I thought it might be fun to maybe draw this guy today. I know I had him kind of started a few weeks back and I revisited him. And I've put him actually in a zoo, okay? So I wanted to show you how you can create that. And again, I've just put him in a zoo setting, right? I don't want you to feel like you have to. You can just draw him, right? Or you can create another animal of your own and put him in his setting or where he belongs, where he lives, where his habitat is, okay? So let's get right to it. I'm going to start off once again with a clean white sheet of paper and a pencil with an eraser. I'm going to use my paper the lengthwise, or this way I should say, right? Not the landscape way. This is actually a big fancy word for the portrait, the way that you would see a portrait, right? So, but that's you don't have to worry about that. So I'm having my paper in front of me like this, right, up and down, a pencil with an eraser. And again, like we've been kind of doing so far, we've been creating pictures, images, pieces of art, and we've talked a lot about the lines and the lines that we use in order to kind of put them on our paper in a very specific or strategic way that will allow us to create an image, right? This one is no different. I can flip back in just a moment here and see, but he really, really, really is. I'm going to give you kind of an idea here. He really is no different, okay? This right here, and I'm going to walk you through it really quick, but this right here, his neck is actually a series of straight lines. We did kind of like the oval, right, for the part of his mouth, the part of his face that might be looking at you. So that's another curved line. We did kind of the upside down U, right, before we did a U, maybe that we did our owl. This is kind of an upside down U or kind of a half a circle, if you will, or another curved line. His ears are just kind of a series of curved lines as well as the bumps on the top of his head, his nostrils and his eyes. And then, just so you can kind of have a point of reference, the shapes on his body, I just put on there in any old way, but I made sure that they were all made up of curved lines. Some of them wavy, depending on how you want his spots on his body to look, okay? And then I just went in and I put what might be looking like a fence, right? Because we know that giraffes are very, very big, very tall, very long necks, right? And they might have an area at a zoo where it might be a fence around their living space, but their necks are so long, their heads might stick above the tops of the fencing, right? So this is just kind of, I guess, a way to make it look like we can only see our giraffe very, very close to us, where you just see his head, a little bit of his neck and his head, and then he might be sticking out above the fence that he is in at the zoo, okay? So let's flip back to our clean white paper, our pencil with an eraser, And I will very quickly show you how to do this. All right, so like I said in the example, I'm going to come and I'm going to draw 2 straight lines, leaving a little bit of space in between them. And I'm going to start just, so let's imagine that this might be kind of the center of our paper, okay? I might start those lines a little bit, and I mean very, very little bit below the center line of our paper, or that imaginary center line. And I might even do it where I made some dots. I don't know if you can see it. There they are. Okay, so let's start there and make those dots, and maybe we can just kind of bring a couple of straight lines down. Okay. Their necks are long and they're lean or skinny. Okay, so I'm going to erase that right there. And before you know it, you have the beginning of the giraffe neck. All right. So now we're just going to create kind of the mouth area, if you will, on our giraffe. And that's just an oval, right? Like I had showed you. It was just an oval, but kind of not an oval that's shaped like up and down like an egg, kind of laying on its side, if you will. All right. So I have my 2 lines right here, and I'm going to make sure that the bottom of my oval definitely touches the tips of those 2 lines, right? That's very important. So I'm going to maybe, and again, get your erasers ready. It's really okay if you need to do some erasing at this point, because you know what, with me doing it one-handed, there's a good chance that I'm going to have to do some erasing here. Okay. So I might even just kind of started up here kind of in the middle. Okay, so I made like an imaginary little dot right here, and I might start it there and I might end it there, but I'm making sure to come down here. Okay, so I might just kind of bring him over like this. Yep, so like already I realized this side over here needs to be a little bit longer. Okay, and so I think that's good. All right. So again, don't be afraid to use that handy dandy eraser. Okay. I'm also going to now make that upside down U. All right. Just like we had in the other paper, we created our owl using the curved line that started out looked like a U. Well, this is the same way, but it's kind of upside down. Okay. So I might come over here a little bit. Might come up, over, and down. Except this right here, I kind of trailed off a little bit. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to come up a little bit more and bring him over like this. So that's a little bit better for me. Okay, perfect. So look at, it's really that easy. Okay, now I'm going to kind of create his nostrils in there, and those are also this same shape. Those are ovals that are kind of laying on its side. Okay, so like this. Right. Okay. Then at the top, we are going to create those the bumps on the top of their head. I'm not really even sure, to be completely honest with you, what they're called. But they have them, and we're going to kind of come up, and we're just going to make a couple of straight lines over here and over here. See what I did? And again, we've done this oval shape quite a bit on their sides, which is really all this is. Okay. So I'm going to kind of come up and just kind of loop around like this. Okay. Now, our guy needs some ears. All right. So what I did was I kind of came down in this, kind of this general area right here. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to put my pencil tips here and here, here and there. Okay. So I'm going to bring this out, and I'm going to kind of come up, and I'm just going to kind of curve it. See what I did there? And do the same over here. Up, curve it. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to curve it up, but I'm going to bring him in, and I'm going to create it so that it comes back around. Okay. You can even give him a little more of a point if you want to his ear. So I might come back through. I might kind of do like this. Okay. All right. He almost has kind of the shape of a cow in a way. All right. Same over here. Okay. See what I did? Perfect. Maybe I think I might like it a little more pointy, because sometimes their ears might be a little bit more pointy, and that's totally fine. Again, it's all about the way you want it to look, right? And perfect. So how easy was that, right? I know, super, super easy. All right, let me flip back to my example here. So boom, it really then becomes a matter of some coloring. But I'm going to flip back and I'm going to say, well, I need to add his eyes and I need to add his spots. And then I'll show you how to do the fencing behind there. Like I said, you don't ever have to feel pressured to do that, right? You can create him with like greenery behind him, right? Or something where you could look up and do a little research and see where do giraffes live. Then you can actually look at their environment, right? Their habitat, their setting, and you can kind of create that in the background. Okay, so for the setting that I chose for today, just for being able to show you, is I chose to put him at a zoo. So for now, I'm going to go back up and I'm going to create his eyes. And this is just, you don't have to do his eyes. You can give him any eyes that you want. Okay, I just like kind of teardrop shape, and I'll show you what I mean. So I might kind of give him some eyes like this. Okay, some teardrop shape. Now I like to kind of do like a half circle, okay, in his eye area. And then I think I showed you the other day, I kind of like to draw a little bit of a dot, because then once I color this in, and I did go back through and I colored this in black, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you just so you can kind of get a visual. And what that little white dot is, it just kind of gives you a little highlight in their eye, right? A little sparkle, if you will, in their eye. Okay, so again, you can also leave it like this. If you want your giraffe to have some eyelashes, what if it's a girl, right? This is kind of fun. You can just kind of go whoop, 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 like that, right? Come in and just kind of flick it up. You can even kind of draw like a little line underneath, right? Give it a little cute little spots like this. Something kind of cute. Now, as far as his spots on his body go, this really, really, really is all about where you want to place them, right? Just kind of give them a little bit of curve, little bends, because they're not perfectly square, right? And they're not perfectly round, all right? So spots on a zebra also spots on a giraffe. I misspoke. I beg your pardon. They're probably not exactly symmetrical or perfectly straight, you know, like a round, right? They're not a perfect circle. In other words, they have a little, some curves to them, little variations, various sizes, things like that. So I might come over here and I might just kind of come over to the side, give him a spot here. Maybe they kind of blend a little bit together. Okay. Maybe he's got one over here and it's not as big. Then maybe over here he's got one, and how about another little one right over here? Okay, see what I did? Now I left this area pink, or I colored it pink, I should say. I left it kind of free because it's kind of like his mouth area. Okay, I might give him one or her, right? One here, maybe one that's not so big here, maybe one down here. Okay, one over here in the corner. Maybe it kind of comes off, touches that one. Then in his ear, maybe I gave him one that's like that, right? Maybe it kind of comes down in the corner over there. Sorry if my camera was off a little bit. Right, so maybe another one over here, just a little bitty one. Okay, so really, that's all there is to him. He's really not that hard. Okay, so again, it's just a matter of using our curved lines, our straight lines, our wavy lines, and then some color. So feel free to color. You can just do him a couple of times and just leave him done in pencil, whatever you'd like. Okay, let me draw very quickly the fence. Now the fence behind him, boom, straight lines with some circles. That's all there is to it. But I kind of came down here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. So like fence, like those black kind of wrought iron looking fencings, right? The enclosures where you can see through them, right? That's kind of what I had in mind for this guy. So I might draw a couple. I might just bring some straight lines down over here. Okay. I might give him another one like right here. Kind of give him like roughly the same height, all of them. Okay, so I did 2 there. I might come over behind him over here, might give him a couple more. So they're kind of roughly, if you look over, they're roughly the same height, and it would be good if you could kind of, that might be something where you could really try to make sure that they're kind of the same height, right? Because, watch what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to draw kind of lines across. Again, my hand is a little bit shaky here. So that's just 2, and I might even join it over like this, giving the illusion that the giraffe is standing in front of them, so you're not able to see the portion of the fence that's behind him, okay? But once you get by him, you're able to see the remainder of that fence, and it kind of goes off the page, because if that giraffe is that close, or we can only see half of his neck and head, he's pretty close to us, which is kind of fun, right? So we're probably not going to be able to see that entire fence. So that's that. Now, all I did there at this point is I just drew some circles on the top to make it look like it's kind of the top part of the fencing, right? But again, you can do it. You don't have to. That one's already, like, I can see it's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to go back through. I'm going to extend these lines up just a smidge, and then I'm going to kind of add my circle up here so that it's roughly the same size, the same distance, okay? The same height, just to give it the illusion that it's maybe that fencing, okay? All right. So there's the fencing, and that was really just a very simple series of lines. Pretty much, he pretty much was, right? So let me flip back now that you can see how we drew him. All right. You might even want to go up. Maybe we remember we did a half of a curved line up here in a corner to indicate there might be a sun. Maybe it's a beautiful sunny spring or summer day and you're at the zoo and you see the pretty sun. Now I might kind of maybe make some rays of the sun like this, but they might look like they're going behind him, right? So I might kind of have it look like that. All right. Whatever kind of you would like to do, okay? However you want to make it look, however you want to color. And let me flip back to my example. You just have to give me a sec because I have several going on at once. And there's mine, okay? Simple, I guess, if you want to say that. Maybe you want I keep wanting to call him a zebra. My fault if I've referenced in any place in this video, if I have called this a zebra, that is not accurate, right? It's a giraffe. Okay, so you might want him to have, rainbow spots. You might not want him colored at all. Maybe you want to make him look like that zebra. Maybe you want to give him black spots and white background. I don't know. It's all about how you want your picture to look and what you imagine him to be doing, where he's living, and just have fun as always. So I hope you enjoyed this again. And like I end everyone, at least I try to, by telling you how much you're missed and how excited I am to see you again, hopefully soon. But definitely, we'll see each other again. And I hope that you guys are all staying healthy and making good choices. And I look forward to seeing you again this week, and have a great rest to your week. All right. All right. Bye, guys.